Hello and welcome to Legit Kid Lit. This is episode 56 and we welcome Kristiana Sfirlea.
Good job. Hi, everyone. I am Kristiana Sfirlea. She pronounced my name correctly, which is a huge accomplishment in my opinion. I am a middle grade author of Legend of the Storm Sneezer and its sequel, which came out August 3rd this year, Legend of the Rainbow Eater. I was homeschooled, which really helped with my writing and just learning how to write from a young age. And one of the fun things that we did as a homeschooling family was partake in a haunted house attraction, which was a lot of fun. So that really got me on my track for writing spooky books. So Legend of the Storm Sneezer is the story of a 13-year-old girl named Rose Schuyler who sneezes a magical storm cloud at birth, and it follows her around ever since. But when Stormy causes too many disasters, Rose is taken to an asylum in a haunted forest whose trees have turned to stone. Guided by time-traveling letters, Rose teams up with her future selves and her maybe imaginary best friend Marek to save her storm cloud and solve the mystery of the specters and the stone trees. But will they find what killed the ghosts before what killed the ghosts finds them? And that is the summary of A Legend of the Storm Sneezer, and A Legend of the Rainbow Eater is the continuing time-traveling, funny, spooky adventures.
Oh my goodness, that sounds amazing.
Thank you.
I love the covers of the books.
Me too.
Yeah. Is that kind of what you had in mind?
Absolutely. I'm with a smaller publisher, and they let me be so involved in picking the illustrator, like looking through all the portfolios and just giving an idea as to what I want the cover to look like. And then there's actually 5 illustrations in the first book and 4 in the second, and they're all done by my cover artist, Anastasia, as well. And again, I got to be a huge part in describing what those look like. And yeah, it's been a huge, amazing experience.
That's really cool. And you said the inside, does the inside have things too?
Yes, it sure does. Yep.
Wow.
5 in the first one and 4 in the second one. So.
Oh, awesome. So let's go ahead and get straight to our questions to get to know you a little bit more, Kristiana. So you worked at a haunted house, which is so cool. So can you reenact one of your characters?
So one of my favorite characters was this jumping werewolf statue. So what I would do is I would put on this really cool werewolf hat, and I'd have to be really, really still. Then I'd jump right at the people right as they walked by. And it was fantastic because they would scream so much. And that was my favorite. I got to play several different characters, but I have to say that one was the most rewarding.
It would be hard to stay so still and not just crack up.
It really was. And you couldn't do it with every person. So you had people walking by and you had to let a couple of them go by. So you weren't jumping at every single person, but you had to like pick your mark, really, like who's going to be the most scared by this. And it was a lot of fun.
It sounds like it. So Tiffany and I, who's not here, sadly, we had some tech issues, but she's here in spirit. Tiffany and I have a dream of a bookmobile, and I heard that you have a similar dream. Tell us about that.
I absolutely do. Honestly, I would love to run a bookstore too, but my heart is definitely most invested in running a bookmobile, just because I feel like it'd be so great to kind of, I think the biggest thing I would love about it is that I could choose like all of my favorite books to sell. Like I would just have like an entire bookmobile dedicated to my favorite reads and getting people to get into those favorite reads. And just the idea of being able to just ride it around and take it places. I just think it would be fantastic. And I'm really hoping to get that one day. A friend of mine, actually, we were talking about, because he had a bookmobile dream as well. So we were talking about this, mutual dream of ours. I'm like, yeah, one day I'm going to do it. He's like, one day I'm going to do it too. I promise. 2 weeks later, he and his wife go out and buy a bus and they make a bookmobile. I'm like, okay, that is follow through. So one day.
That's great. So I want cats with my bookmobile. Like I
Oh,
want
that's awesome.
cats and books.
That would be fantastic. As
Yeah.
long as no one's allergic, of course.
Right. Yeah, I'll have separate. I don't know. That's a good point. Gotta keep people safe, but still want them to come.
Of course.
So we got to know more about your award-winning book, Legend of the Storm Sneezer. Where did you come up with the idea?
So I always love when I get this question, even though I don't have a very concrete answer. What I would say is that one of the writing exercises I put myself through is I just try to think up what is the most random thing that I can think up that I can make into a story that actually makes sense. So where the idea of a girl sneezing a magical storm cloud came from, all I know is that I absolutely love storm clouds and I love the idea of storm abilities. And I said to myself, storm abilities, magical storm powers, they've been done a lot. What can I do to make this unique? And that's where her sneezing this magical storm cloud, Stormy, and Stormy kind of becoming its own character kind of came into play.
So the humor part of your scary books, what made you want to combine humor and spooky?
I've always loved humor with spooky. On a more personal note, I've been through a lot of health scares in my life. And one of the greatest things that got me through those very scary experiences were books that were humorous or just jokes and humor and anything like that. I feel like it's one of the most powerful combinations. It can really help you conquer your fears and help you be able to manage your fears. I just think humor has a really great way of doing that. Plus, I'm a humorist. I love writing jokes. I love laughing at my own jokes. I am notorious for that. So I just think combining two of my favorite things, which is spookiness and humor, was just a natural conclusion. I don't really know how to write any other way.
Well, I teach sixth grade, and two of the top genres are spooky and humor. So this will be a perfect book to be like, yeah, I think that's fantastic.
Thank you so much.
So what would Rose, the main character's Halloween costume, be this year?
So I just had a big book launch party and 4 of my favorite fans came. They're these young girls and they're just I've known them through their families before, and they came up to me and they told me, we're going to dress up as all of your characters for Halloween this year. And I was like, oh my goodness, this is the best thing an author could ever hear. So one of them was dressing up as Rose, one of them was dressing up as Stormy, one of them was dressing up as a storm or a rainbow, and then one of them said, I want to dress up as a giant chocolate covered strawberry. Now, chocolate covered strawberries are my main character's favorite snack, and it's kind of like their special snack together. So when I heard that, I'm like, Rose would want to dress up as a giant chocolate covered strawberry. That's not even a question. So that would be her Halloween costume.
That's genius.
Isn't it though? And I'm like, you get your best ideas from kids, I promise.
Yes, I wouldn't even think of a chocolate covered strawberry. So that's really cool.
I agree.
So speaking of Rose, what would she be watching on TV right now?
Okay. So she would be watching The Owl House from Disney. So that show is Luz, who's the main character. She is so much like Rose. She's just got this great outlook on all of these terrifying things that are happening to her. The humor is Rose would just love the humor. So she would definitely, I always feel like they're kind of spirit sisters, The Owl House and the Stormwatch Diaries, which is the title of my series. I also think I think she would be honestly watching She-Ra and the Princesses of Power, because I just started watching that. And as I'm watching, I'm like, Rose would love this and Rose would love that. So those are the 2 shows that she would be watching right now.
Oh, so cool. I have not seen Owl House, so I will have to look that up.
Yes, it's so good. Oh my goodness. It's on Disney Plus.
Okay.
Yes.
So Tiffany and I love fall. So if you could plan a perfect fall day, what would it be?
Oh, goodness. I love fall so much. It is one of my absolute favorite seasons. I don't know if I have like a favorite season because I love something about each season, but fall to me is just cozy, and it's the perfect time to like curl up with a spooky book. And one of my favorite things to drink is hot apple cider, and you stir in some caramel. And it just tastes, it's like you're drinking a caramel apple. So I think my favorite fall day would be just going through a forest that's like all in the beautiful colors of fall in my favorite sweater. And then going to a haunted house attraction because I love those. And then coming home and getting my hot apple cider with caramel and reading one of my favorite spooky books, maybe the Lockwood and Co. series by Jonathan Stroud, because that is like my favorite ghost story books. So that would be my perfect fall day.
Oh, that sounds amazing. And I would have that day too.
Awesome.
Okay, so I was looking at your website, which is wonderful and full of such great things.
Thank you.
But I found the Squishy Apocalypse.
Yeah.
What is the Squishy Apocalypse?
So the Squishy Apocalypse is, and I don't have one with me, which I'm kicking myself over, but I make these cute little storm cloud squishies. They're actually like, a lot of them I made with felt, and then I'd cut up a memory foam pillow and stuff them in there, and they're just adorable. And so when my book Legend of the Storm Sneezer first came out, I started leaving them places with this little note inside that said to take pictures with them and, send them to me. And I'll put them on social media and I'll put them on my website and stuff. So I took them places and and people started taking pictures with them. So this is all of the people who took pictures with my squishies, and I called it the Squishy Apocalypse because they just traveled all over my state, and a couple even went out of state. So that is the Squishy Apocalypse.
It's so cool.
Thank you so much. I'm hoping to continue. I thought it was kind of done, and then maybe a week or two ago, I got another person that was like, "Hey, I found your squishy, and I'm taking a picture with it." So it was really fun.
Well, let's get it going again. Maybe this will help. We need the Squishy Apocalypse.
Absolutely, for sure.
So this time has flown by. I have enjoyed your just excitement, and I'm excited for you in this series. Can you end our interview with some words of wisdom for our viewers?
Yes. So usually when I'm talking to people, I'm talking to potentially young writers. So I would love to give a little advice for young writers, just to the Stormwatch Diaries and the whole series and Legend of the Storm Sneezer was actually my first book, and I rewrote it so many times, but I stuck with it. And I just always want to encourage people that if you fall in love with your first idea, like, stick with it. Like, you're going to have to work at it really hard to make it where it needs to be. But if you fall in love with a world and with characters, don't ever give up on it. And as for the readers listening, whether you're a reluctant reader or an avid reader, just know that there's always going to be the book of your heart out there. You just have to keep looking for it. So those would be my 2 words of wisdom for readers and for young writers.
Oh my goodness, that's amazing and beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Well, so thank you for joining us on Legit KidLit, episode 56. And we hope that all of our readers out there have enjoyed our show and are inspired to pick up some new and amazing books. We're here every Sunday with a new author or special guest and plenty of crazy fun. You can check out our Twitter and Instagram for upcoming episodes. And I'm Alexis, and Tiffany is virtually, she's in her spirit. Her spirit is here, and we just want to say thank you.
Thank you so much for having me. Bye.
Bye.